Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson here.
This is the professional Nathan Cruz.
Yo, this is Man Like Doris.
Hi, this is Tom Thurber.
This is Benji.
This is the Asian sensation Kanji.
This is the Nightmare Fuel Hassan Malone.
This is Joe Rage, the Heavyweight Classic.
This is Mad Dog O'Doherty.
This is Tonga.
I'm the Breaker, Carl Kingsley.
This is the infamous Cameron Solis, and you're listening
You're listening to
Broken but Glorious.
Broken but Glorious.
To Broken but Glorious podcast, because like me, you are head to toe a pro.
Hello and welcome to Broken but Glorious, and this is my Brit Rest journey. I'm Chris Lappin, and I'd like to be joined on the line by a man who recently made his return to the ring after 8 years away. It's Adam Cairns. How are you doing this evening, Adam?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Very excited.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
So before we get into why you got away from the ring, how's your return been so far?
It's been great. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, I came back about 3 months ago. Started training with Paramount Pro Wrestling because one of my best mates, runs the company, and it's been great. Yeah, the training's been great. The shows have all been brilliant. Quality shows. Yeah, it's loved it. Absolutely. I was nervous about jumping back into it, and but now that everything's settled down and the nerves have gone a little bit, I feel like I never left really.
So is it still Joey Rush?
Yeah. So
he's a great guy. So.
Yeah, Joey. We've since I left wrestling years ago, me and Joey never lost touch. So he'd constantly try and get me back every, pretty much every single week. He'd ask me to come back, and then I wasn't ready, myself, physically or mentally ready anywhere near to come back. And then we got to the point a few months ago when I thought, it's now. I need to, no time like the present. So just jump back into it, and it's been going really well ever since.
How was the body once after having 8 years away from bumps and?
Yeah, and you know what? It was okay. After the first training session back, it was a bit. I woke up the next day and it was a bit. That episode of The Friends when Monica's boyfriend Pete has been in the UFC fight.
And he's casts.
Yeah. He's got like the danger zone around him. I felt a bit like that. I woke up the next morning. I was just, I just wrote that day off, I think, and I was just chilling out that day because I just wasn't really feeling it. But as I kept on going, it's hitting less and less and less. So I'm all good now.
Yeah, I started training in May, and I couldn't walk for 4 days after the first training session. I've never done squats in my whole life.
Yeah, the squats look cool. Yeah.
I was struggling to walk. I can bend my knees, so trying to get upstairs and stuff.
Yeah.
I can walk on a straight line, but you get down steps or going up hills. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I know, it's a nightmare.
So you got a big show on the 9th of December. So it's
9th of December.
Fightmare before Christmas.
Fightmare before Christmas. Yeah, in Netherton. It's going to be a big one, yeah. Main event's been announced for it. It's Isaac North and Charlie Brennan. They've been, going at each other for months and months and months.
They team up for a bit, and then
they were a team up until our last show when Charlie kind of separated himself from Isaac, and now obviously it all culminates on the 9th of December. So that's going to be a barn burner because the pair of them are really, really special talent. So yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Isaac lose a match. I'm trying to think.
I haven't seen Isaac lose a match now.
Yeah, I've seen him quite regularly since 20. Well, first time I saw him was 2020 at Paramount show.
Mm-hmm. I think he's definitely undefeated in Paramount. I'm not sure about everyone else, but I don't see him losing much.
I say I've seen him at Superstar and I've seen him TNT Ignition, but I can't think of him ever losing There you go.
Yeah.
But like Rumbles, he got eliminated from a Rumble, but
Yeah.
but I don't think I've ever seen him get pinned. So,
Yeah, no,
so this is
he's,
going to be a tough one for Charlie. So
Yeah, no, he's an unstoppable. He's an unstoppable force. He's a maniac. Yeah, Charlie's definitely got his work cut out for him. Like,
yeah, the first time I met him, he didn't say a word to really anyone backstage.
Yeah.
He just had a board and he was just stapling barbed wire to it. Everybody else was planning all their matches. He just spent like an hour and a half just stapling barbed wire to it.
Oh, good. That's an interesting first impression, isn't it? Wow.
Cool. Yeah, you got Ben Reed versus Frankie Sloan. That should be fun as well.
Yeah, Ben Reed. Ben Reed's great. Obviously, everyone knows Frankie's a legend in UK wrestling. He's a nice guy as well. Ben Reed, obviously young up and coming. He's been about for a while, but he's really talented as well. So that should be a interesting match to see how different things come into play in that one with the experience. I'm looking forward to that one myself.
Yeah, didn't you have like what's his name? You had like Warhorse and Kid Bandit on your shows recently and stuff. So.
Yeah. So Warhorse and Kid Bandit done a charity show for Paramount on a Thursday night last month, and then the night after, Warhorse done that show as well, which was just a normal paid show, and it was great, obviously for Paramount to get a name like Warhorse, who's fresh off, AW Dark, facing Cody Rhodes for the TNT title, a couple of years back, and to have someone like that come into a company like Paramount and speak to people and just pass like wisdom on to people, and he was very happy to talk about his experience, give people advice, stuff. He did a training seminar as well. He's just so it was a big deal for Paramount to have Warhorse come in.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. He's Kid Bandit's both my kids' favorite wrestler at the moment. So.
Oh right, okay.
So I would have loved to got over there to watch it. So.
Yeah. No, he was good. Yeah, Kid Bandit was nice as well.
I'm trying to think of why we couldn't go. I'm sure I was doing something that evening on the Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
it was great. It was great to have both of them there. Yeah.
Let's go right back. So, who's your favourite wrestler growing up?
Favourite wrestler growing up? I always struggle with this question because
it's the way you age this question usually as well. So.
Yeah, it's always changed every few years as I've gone into different points of my life and growing up, and it'll probably still change now depending on what day of the week you ask me. Right now I'd probably say Chris Hero. Chris, I've loved watching Chris Hero for years. His WWE stuff was great. I love him, on the Indies ROH stuff. I think he's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. Growing up, when I was much younger, I'd definitely say Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, what is one man?
Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
And of past few years, I'd say I'd probably go Owen Hart as well.
That sound.
Yeah, so
it's definitely
my
era.
I say, definitely, ask me this question tomorrow, and there'll be a set of 5 different names. So.
Yeah, my favourite all time is Macho Man, but who's my second, third, fourth favourite all time always changes. But,
yeah. It's a complicated question, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what prompted you to don the tights to get in the ring yourself?
So I was still in secondary school when I started training, and obviously I'd watched wrestling for years and years, relentlessly, and then didn't know much about wrestling in the UK apart from seeing the odd show on like holiday camps or in like a theatre or something like that. It was never
outside like All Star. I didn't really know there was a British scene. I think I've seen All Star a couple of times. Also.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like 15 and decided to look into it, and then I was amazed at that point to see that you can just do this. I didn't know you could. What do you mean? You can just do this? Like you can go to like a cooking school, or I didn't know it was just something you could go and do. So as soon as I found that out, I just went for it. Yeah, took to it quite quickly at the beginning, and the rest was history. Yeah, but like I say, it was literally just, if someone would have asked me when I was in school, what dream scenario, what would you be when you're older, it would have been professional wrestler. Like I say, I just didn't know that it was an option. Yeah.
So was like Chris Hero, Shawn Michaels, who you want to like mold your style around when you start training?
Yeah. So yeah, I think watching them, I kind of was watching them and thinking, I want to do that. I don't know. I just wanted to. I remember watching Shawn Michaels, and I've never seen a wrestler before or since who can bring emotion out of an audience like Shawn Michaels could.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching the audience, watching Shawn Michaels, and thinking to myself, imagine being that guy. Imagine being able to, give people in the audience the night of their life. The ups and downs of a wrestling show isn't like any other sport in the world, I don't think. And to be able to, get the ball rolling and potentially one day be that guy that can do that is what made me think I'm gonna, give this a go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea of a character you wanted to be when you started? Do you have
I did.
What was Adam version 1 like?
Yeah, well, Adam version 1 was very much, like I say, I was 15 when I started training. I was nervous, just a nervous child. So I turned up and, I got my head around the wrestling side of things quite quickly. The character side of things, the gimmick side of things didn't really come to me that quickly. I just couldn't get my head around it. I was always very nervous doing, promos and speaking on camera and things like that. So character-wise, I never really created much, never really pitched much. I just decided to kind of be me, just be what version of myself that I needed to be on the night, whether, depending on the audience, depending on heel or face, depending on different things. But I mean, I'd like to think now, as I'm 25 now, and I started thinking a few years after I left in 2014, I started thinking a couple of years after that about characters. I knew I wasn't ready to come back, but I started jotting down and I started, remembering things that I'd thought of for gimmick ideas, because something just clicked in me. And it was like one day I had no idea about anything character-wise. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I couldn't give no good ideas at all. It was just useless. And then suddenly I started getting all these different, I've got this idea for the gimmick, would that work here, would that work here, would that, and since I've got back into, wrestling the last few months, it's took that up a notch, because I'm, my head's chocker with gimmicks now, and
I'm constantly having to write things down. So it's like, that'd be a great finishing name when I'm watching
exactly,
stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea gimmick wise for a long time, and then something clicked, and now I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah.
All I had at the beginning was I want to wear face paint because I don't want to see people go, he's 40, why is he on a
right? Okay.
So that's my initial, but yeah, it's evolving.
No, yeah,
I've got the ideas and stuff, so it's like,
yeah, good. No, I like the face paint look. It's good.
It's just something that's it's not a lot of people are wearing face paint on the British scene at the moment. And,
yeah,
I'm quite a bit short. I'm only 5'7", but I'm like close to 15 stones. I'm short and stocky, so I've been watching a lot of like early Taz, early Rhino matches. And, and like Wild Boar and just trying to so it's a lot. I'm hoping to be a lot of suplex based, but that suplex is knacky around.
Yeah.
I got a bit better, so I started doing like I'm doing spin like 3 times a week. I'll just try and get fitter.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's just crazy how it's a completely different type of fitness. Just having to getting up and down, the constant getting up and down is just.
It's crazy. There's literally nothing. I know everyone says it. You hear it on wrestling shows all the time. You hear commentators saying it. You hear wrestlers when they're training saying there's no type of shape you can be in that's anywhere near ring shape.
Until you wrestle.
It's crazy. I in 2021 I lost 6 stone, and at the time I was doing I was jogging, I was running, I was doing all kinds of different exercises. We thought my cardio was the best that it had ever been. And then when I done a training session last year, I came in and ready to go cardio wise, and it hit me so quick that God, this is not the same. There's
I did a 45-minute spin class this morning, but 3-minute practice match. I'm goosed.
It's ridiculous. There's nothing like it. It's crazy. I'd run round Sefton Park in Liverpool twice without stopping, for, whatever it was, 30, 39, 40 minutes, get to the end, I'd be gassed, but I wouldn't be at the point of, I need to sit down, and then you do a training session, you do 10 up and overs, take a, hip toss arm drag, and you feel like you're just ready to go home. Honestly, there's nothing like ring shape at all, and there's nothing you can do to get ready for ring shape apart from to be in the ring. Your body just gets used to it eventually.
We've only just got to the point where we're starting to figure out how to do matches. I know we did for 6 months, so it's like I get nothing. I'm looking forward to.
It does happen. I think it does happen quickly though, because like I say, I only started training again about 3 months ago, and already that first session, after doing a match and training stuff before and different drills, I was just gassed really quickly and a lot. And it's got to the point now where it's like, oh, okay, I'm learning again how to breathe in certain moments, how to breathe in the ring when you're not doing, it gets easier. You've got to. It takes a while to get your head around, but it does get easier once you figure it out.
Yeah, one of them people where it needs to become natural. So like my footwork, I think it's from what it was.
Yeah.
That's all. Our trainer was just like, "Chris, your feet." That's all he used to say to me. But I haven't heard that for a while.
Yeah.
The first training session where they went, do a forward roll. I was like, I've done a forward roll since I was 30 years.
Yeah.
But then we had a seminar with Joe Connors, and he told the Pete, the manager, the owner, that he was impressed with my rolls apparently. So I was like, yes.
There you go.
But and I watched back my rolls from the first session, and they were
yeah. And look, if everything else goes poorly, and you've only got the rolls, 10-minute match, just do rolls for 10 minutes. If anyone wants to come near you while you're doing the rolls, it could be like a Sonic the Hedgehog type situation. I don't know. It could very well work for you. Who knows? This is wrestling. There's no wrong way to do things.
The only bit it's like we're doing back bumps, and they just say do a back bump. I can't do it, but I can be slammed, and I can be suplexed, and I can have a super kick, and I'll do a back bump. But I just when they say just do a back bump, my body goes, why? You want to jump on your back?
I do see that kind of. It's weird because I've seen a lot of people over the years who are perfectly happy, taking a suplex, taking a hip toss, arm drag, whatever. And then landing, and then when it comes to doing a bump, I think there is something, like you said. Then I think there is something in your brain that's going, "What are you jumping to the floor for? This is pretty much the only thing we try to stop you to do on a daily basis." So it just goes against what your body's supposed to be doing.
Take every bump.
That's another thing that just comes with time and confidence growing. It's just getting your head around it. It's a strange old sport.
Yeah, and then, yeah. People go, "Oh, does it stop hurting after a while?" I said, no, you just get it just sucks less because you get used to it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So take us back to your first ever match. What do you remember about it in hindsight? Did you enjoy it? Was it any good? Have you been back and watched it?
Right. My first match, I'd been training probably about 6 to 8 weeks. I think I'd been training before he threw my in on the first match.
Wow.
And it was,
6
so
weeks.
I know, yeah. So the training company that I work for used to do junior shows, and then they used to have the main show after.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time, the junior shows would pretty much be a crowd of, the kids' families that wanted to come and watch, the son, daughter, grandkids wrestle or whatever. And I was on that show, and I think it was the opening match, if I remember rightly. I remember being really nervous. I remember having the worst looking gear you could possibly imagine. Because I got told on such a short notice as well that I was going to be on the match. It was, what have I got here to wear for this match? I ended up in like baggy black pleather pants, like training, like Lonsdale wrestling boots.
Yeah.
And I just like a dark camo tap out t-shirt from Sports Direct. It was just the worst. It was the worst get up that you could possibly imagine. I remember being really nervous for it, and the music come out. It was the whole thing. My mum, my stepdad, my dad, my brother were my first match. That was cool. I think we went about, I think we went about 10, 12 minutes. And I remember being really happy with it, at the time, obviously. And I remember the guy that I was facing had the idea, because he was the junior champion at the time. He had the idea I was going to beat him after the match. He wanted to go under the ring, get a steel chair, and take me out with the chair while I was, celebrating. And again, I've been doing this, 6 weeks at a push. That was running the school. The guy that was running the school at the time, seen, this lad going under the chair going under the ring to get the chair. Just like, nope, not doing that. So I think he got rid of the chair and then just hit some kind of neck breaker on me instead. But at the time, I remember being really happy with the match. And then it's funny actually, because a lot of the majority of footage from the company that a lot of people, including myself, used to work for, got deleted. So there's very, very few videos still out there of my first of my wrestling at all. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's because it's on a different account, my first match is available to be found.
Oh man!
And it's just, I was talking to my fiance a couple of weeks ago, and she said to me, "Have you got any footage of you that I can see?" And I was like, "I have, but I don't want you to watch it because it's bad. It's just awful. It's just so bad. I can't even stress that. If I would have had a video to show her from, 2 years in, I would have been completely happy to show her that. But I just couldn't show it. I said to her, you know what? Yeah, you can watch the entrance, but as soon as the bell rings, you're not watching that because that's just, it's awful. It's really bad. Like you were talking about footwork before. My footwork and ring awareness in that match was just horrifying. It was awful. Stubble all over the place. Didn't look like a wrestler. It looked like he got a kid off the street and went, "Do you want to have a match?" And I've just come in and gone, "Yeah, go ahead." No worries.
Pretty much after 6 weeks, that's what you are.
Yeah,
still.
I don't know.
It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were still on basic holds and I don't know.
Yeah.
6 weeks. So it's like,
Yeah.
we might have done like a body slam and a suplex.
Yeah.
It's
strange. Yeah, I know every company, obviously, every school does things differently. But I was just, at that point, I was maybe just barely ready to be on a junior show. But Obviously, obviously with it being a junior show, and like I said to you before, a lot of the people watching were just family, so there's not going to be much judgment or people being critical because it's people they cared about. So I think I think we got away with the lack of experience and general talent. So, but yeah, that was pretty much the story of the first match and me not wanting to watch it ever again.
Yeah. So you wrestled from 2011 to 2014.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the start, like the Brit Rest boom. So, yeah. So what was it that made you stop wrestling for like after them 3 years? Or?
Well, so once it got to 2014, I started putting a little bit of weight on anyway. I'm not talking, stones and stones and stones or nothing. I just wasn't really watching, my diet anymore, and I wasn't really paying too much attention to exercise and things like that. So I just felt a little bit, pudgier, and just a bit like feeling a bit lethargic. So once that happened, and I put a little bit of weight on and stuff. And we're talking, we are literally talking a t-shirt size up. We're not, like I said, it's not stones and stones. We're talking, I'll from a large to an extra large, for example. And where we used to train, there was a lot of people there that were very much in it for themselves, and that it felt like they took great pleasure in bringing you down. The bullying in the school that we used to go to was pretty relentless at times. And then obviously once I put a little bit of weight on, I started getting these type of comments towards me every week at training, at shows, and it just I started thinking to myself, I genuinely don't know. I actually remember having a conversation with my mum before I was going to. It was like it was a Saturday, and it was training in the morning from about 10 till 3, and then I think we were setting up for the show at 6:30 at the same place. And I remember being just so nervous to go because the constant, you call it bullying, call it mockery. I hate these people who say, "Oh, it's just banter, laugh it off." It's not banter, it's not. There's a difference between banter and bullying people and trying to make yourself hysterical in front of your mates. It's a different thing. It's just a very different thing. And it got to the point where I was saying to my mum before this show, as I was about to leave, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. I honestly feel like I'm going to have a panic attack going because I'm just so nervous already about what people are going to say and what people are going to, call me or whatever. And my mum said to me, I don't know why you're paying to do something like this that makes you feel this way. And then she said that, and it kind of clicked for me a little bit. And I started thinking to myself, she's got a point. I don't know why I'm, still paying money for training. I'm paying quite a lot of money in travel as well because, it wasn't close to where I am in Liverpool. So we had to, it was trains and stuff. It was trains and buses and things like that. So that kind of got the ball rolling for me to think maybe consider taking a break. I'd won a couple of titles and stuff, and I remember just people would just still, and I don't know if it was a jealousy thing, and I don't know whether it was they were insecure and they kind of tried to push that onto me. But some of the comments, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And stupidly, myself, I thought, oh, I'm a champion now. I've done this, I've done that. I've worked these people. I've had this many good matches in a row. And I thought those things. I thought the bullying and the comments, I thought they'd stop because I was doing good things, in the ring. But apparently not. And it just didn't work that way. I lost the title that I was holding, and then trained for a few more weeks after that. Ended up hurting my leg in a training session. I went to a hospital eventually to get it looked at, and then they thought it was going to be some kind of ligament problem. And so they said, probably don't, wrestle on it we'll bring you back for whatever type of scan, you know, they said they were going to do. And so I told the company, told the school, and said, listen, I'm taking a break. I've hurt my leg anyway. I just need, you know, a little bit of time. Obviously, at the time, I didn't think it'd be as long as it was. But I, you know, told them I was having a little break. Eventually, it would not be as serious as it looked in my leg, and it was something that it doesn't bother me much now. My leg, so it's in my knee. It's not really a problem. I feel a little bit of a twinge every now and then, but it's nothing that it's easily dealable with.
Yeah.
Then that was 2014. I just, to be completely honest with you, carried on putting weight on, and my mental and physical health just started declining from there, and it was just it was never ending, you know. And I'd have these thoughts, you know, every couple of months of, you know, get back into wrestling, go to a different school if you need to, you know, go to Manchester, go to a Future Shock, it doesn't matter where, just dive back in. And mentally I wasn't doing too well. I'd got diagnosed with depression, anxiety disorder. You know, I was ridiculously overweight. And to be honest, it was a rough few years. Then, like I said, last year, after Christmas last year, I said to myself, I'm bored of this now. I'm bored of, you know, flirting with me inevitable heart disease. Do you know what I mean? So, so I just decided I needed to get this weight off, and I was hoping at the time, as the weight comes off, my mental health will be slowly coming with it. And, you know, because, you know, a lot of me mental health problems were, I felt about my body, and it was a whole, I felt bad about my body, felt bad about how I looked, and a lot of that came from people telling me that as well. And like I said to you then, every training session, it was something different. Every single training session, it was something different. I'd come out and my mum after the training session, and then I'd say, oh, they said this today, or this person said this today, and I was saying it every week. And I think you can only be told so many times that you look like this, or you're not looking good enough, before you actually start to believe, and you actually say, oh, you know what, I am, you know, fat, useless. You start to believe it. You know, if it's being drilled into you that much, eventually you're going to start to believe that yourself. So yeah, so my body image, you know, the way I looked at myself was just no good at all. Early 2021, I decided to, you know, get a little bit of weight off. Ended up buying a treadmill, and I was literally just battering the exercise on the treadmill. Really, really, really strict diet. And I ended up losing 6 stone in about in about 8 months, I think it was. Yeah, so I ended up losing 6 stone in about 8 months. I actually give myself shin splints because I was exercising that much on the treadmill. And I was still living at home at the time, and I remember my mum would say to me, we had the treadmill in the shed next to the house, and I'd be walking past my mum, like kind of limping, and she'd be like, "Are you going back out on the treadmill?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Why?" And I was going, "Oh, I need to, you know, I need to burn another 200 calories for today, so I just need to do it." But it was a lot to lose that weight in that time, but it was the best decision that I've ever made. And like I'd hoped, my mental health did gradually get better and better as the weight. To be honest, for every pound that come off, you know, my mental health would get 1% better. And so once it got to, you know, late 2021, I decided, you know, I'm gonna really start to think about getting back into this soon. It took, you know, again, the best part of a year to actually gather up the, you know, the courage and just take the leap into it. But yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, and yeah, just those 8 years weren't pleasant at all. But You know, I do think that if I wouldn't have had those 8 years out with it being as unpleasant as it was, maybe I'd be back taking this for granted now, and I'm not doing that. I can't, you know, I'll explain how grateful I am to be back doing this, because it's all I've ever really wanted to do. And so now when I'm back doing this and, you know, wrestling in front of audiences and stuff is insane to me. And yeah, I'm grateful for, you know, to everyone that's, you know, had the faith in me to, because, you know, people know that I've been out. People know that they aren't getting someone. A couple of months ago, they knew that they weren't getting someone who's going to be completely, you know, ready to go, and, you know, who's not going to have any ring rust. But, you know, luckily with the training I've done, luckily with the few shows that I have done since then, I think I've pretty much worked off quite a lot of the ring rust, and I'm feeling better than I ever did. So.
Oh, amazing! I'm really happy for you.
Yeah,
I had a similar. Oh, I was signed off work for 3 months earlier this year with depression and anxiety, and I'm very similar. I wasn't happy the way I looked. I've lost 3 stone since then, and
that's great.
And I said the wrestling's helped a lot. The confidence is through the roof. I was only 3 or 4 months ago I started doing video interviews. I just always did audio because I wasn't happy the way I looked until for a couple of months ago. But it's like,
that's great. No, it's tough, honestly. You know, when you've got that, when you just hate the way you look, it's the worst thing in the world, because you know, you see yourself every day before you leave the house, and you look at yourself and just go, my God, I'm gonna walk out the front door and people are gonna see you know, this monstrosity, you know. And then it's, you know, but yeah, you know, you put the work in.
I used to grow a goatee just to hide my chin and stuff and stuff like that. Just like, probably makes you look bigger, but you don't see that. So it's like...
No, but that's the thing. But you know, you put the work in. You know, the results will come, and you know, I can. If anyone's, you know, even thinking about, you know, even, and not even weight loss, you know, if it's weight loss, if it's wanting to put muscle on, if it's anything, if you think you're gonna benefit and love the way you look more by making any physical changes, then, you know, go for it, because it's so worth it in the end.
Yeah, so in February I was getting knackered just walking up the stairs, and now I did a 45-minute spin class, and thinking of doing that 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Going to the gym, you just need to get over the hump where it sucks to go to the gym because you're not fit enough. So you just need to get that basic level of fitness. You're just like, oh, this sucks, I ache all the time. But it probably took me about 6 weeks, 2 months just to get that level of fitness where I was like, Luckily, I had my brother helping me. He'll drive me to the gym every day, and we did it together for the first couple of months, and it's like, it was great.
Good.
I actually enjoy it now.
And that's enjoy it. I know. It's crazy because I'll be doing moves now in training or in, you know, on shows and things, and I'd look at myself and I go, I can't even imagine doing a move like this, you know, because you know, at my, you know, heaviest weight, I was probably about 23.5 stone. And so, you know, like it was only something stupid, but it was about 3 weeks ago I was training with Joey Rush, and when we were training I wanted to try and do a springboard crossbody, and I was doing this springboard crossbody, and just, you know, so no one behind me, nothing, because I was just trying to, you know, get it down, and I was doing it, and I was thinking to myself, like, you imagine 23.5 stone you trying to do this, do you know what I mean? The ring would have, you know, I'm not sure the ring would have held, you know what I mean? It would have been a, you know, Brock Lesnar Big Show situation. It just would have been dust. And it's crazy to look at, you know, the things that I'm doing now, and obviously you feel the same way. You look at yourself achieving things now physically, and it's crazy. But yeah,
I did a handstand into a roll the other week. I was like, what? A handstand? Still can't do cartwheels. Brian Haynes is trying to get me to do cartwheels. And I've never done one. I'm 41. I've just got. I did a handstand.
You don't need to be doing cartwheels at 41. You don't need. That's not gonna help your life.
You're showing us videos. I can't remember what Japanese wrestler was. He did a cartwheel into a headlock. He's like, yes, he can use cartwheels in wrestling matches.
Oh, right.
Maybe I won't use cartwheel in wrestling matches. I can't do them.
Yeah.
So did you? Yeah. So during them 8 years, did you keep up with the wrestling scene on the British scene? Or?
I kept up with it briefly. I still followed all the companies and promotions on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. So I did keep up, and obviously kept up with a few guys that I was training with and had worked with. Didn't keep up on I didn't really go to any shows. It was too. To be honest, it was too tough for me to go to shows. I think I went to about 6 months after I'd left wrestling. I think I went to an Infinite show in the town centre in Liverpool, and I remember sitting there thinking, "This is great, but I should be doing this." I remember sitting there thinking I should be doing this, and for a long time it was like that, especially with UK wrestling. It didn't come from a place of jealousy. I wasn't looking at guys and girls in the ring and thinking to myself, I wish that was me. Oh, why have they got this and I haven't. It wasn't like that, but I was just looking and I was thinking to myself, what if my mental health was better? What if physically I was in better shape? And I was just thinking, this is what I want to be doing. And it was, for a long time, it was just really tough to watch, because I just felt like it was where I wanted to be, if that makes any sense.
Definitely.
But obviously just seeing updates, just seeing like match cards and stuff, graphics, things like that, seeing the odd few videos online and things like that, but I didn't keep up with it too much. Yeah.
So once you made your return, what was your first match back?
So the first match back that I done was a charity show, and that was on a Thursday night. That was really good. It was for a charity called Reuben's Raw, which is just a great charity doing absolutely incredible things. So it was a charity match for them, and it was a tag team match. It was me teaming with Joey Rush, which was just a brilliant way for me to be brought back into this crazy world, because Joey's my best friend, and he was constantly a phone call away through, in those 8 years when I just didn't know what I was doing. I was just so lost. Joey was always there. And for my first match back, to be teaming with him, it was just such a lovely story. For me, it meant a lot. So it was me and Joey in a tag team against two other of the Paramount lads, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was a good match.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, we actually got to the ring, and Joey Rush brings a baseball bat with him to the ring.
Yeah,
and we'd stepped into the ring, and everything was going fine, and we were standing there across the ring from these two other guys, and Joey was swinging his baseball bat around, to intimidate the other team, and he hit it on the mat, and he really battered it. And I was looking at him, and I seen him hit the mat the first time, and I was thinking to myself, you need to pull that back a little bit, because the bat's not going to take that. It's not Thor's hammer, mate. Just chill out a bit. So he hit it again, and I thought, oh, don't do it a third time. And he brought the baseball bat up for the third time, slammed the mat, and the thing just split in half.
Oh no!
But it didn't just split in half; it split in half. Both sides bounced and then just flew up in the air. And I remember I was literally just standing there laughing, because it was just like, Joey's the only person in the world that could bring a weapon down to the ring, then break it before he could even use it. So, but we did actually keep we kept half the bat each as a little memento as to my first match back. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I just give a reminder for the listeners of your upcoming shows. So it's Paramount Wrestling returns Netherton.
Yeah.
So
Fightmare
before Christmas. I'll put ticket information. It's on the 9th of December.
Yeah.
Have you had a match announced for it yet? Oh, no.
I haven't had a match announced for it yet. That should be coming in the next couple of weeks. So I know they announced like you mentioned before, they announced Ben Reed and Frankie Sloan yesterday. So I think maybe next week, possibly the week after, I think they'll get to announcing some more matches. But yeah, it's going to be it's a stacked. From what I've seen, it does seem to be a stacked card, and it's probably going to be the best show of the year at the best time of the year. So yeah, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, they're always great shows, Paramount.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right, so if you're promoted for a day, promoting an event, so using wrestlers you've either worked with, trained with, done seminars with, wrestlers are associated to you in some way. If I give you a match type, you tell me who you put in that match.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Cool. And as it's your show, every match can be 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, intergender.
Yeah.
Throw a stupid stipulation on if you want it.
Okay, no problem.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, who'll be in your opening contest? Get the crowd excited.
So I would say for my opening contest, I'd probably say Frankie Sloan versus Liam Carr.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, I've come back and seen a lot. I've been impressed by loads and loads of wrestlers since I've been back. Liam Carr definitely matches that description because he's so good. And
he should be in more places.
He should be, yeah. He definitely should be. I know a few years ago, I think he done like I think he went to Canada and a few different places.
He was in the the Britannia Rumble a couple of years ago, and I can remember the commentators going, "He wrestled the tanker. He wrestled the tanker."
Yeah, he did wrestle the tanker. Yeah. Yeah, but Liam Carr definitely Liam's the person on the list that I somewhere down the line I need to wrestle Liam Carr. Both Scouse lads, both I think of a similar age. He's had a little break as of late as well. I think he's been out for a few months. So I think we'd work together well. But I do think I'd like to wrestle Liam at some point. Yeah, but for the opening match, I'd probably go with Liam Carr and Frankie Sloan.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But what about a comedy style match?
So a comedy style match. So let's say so I was thinking back to who I've trained with, who I've worked with, who I've done training seminars with and things like that, and then completely forgot until a few hours ago that I'd done a training seminar with Chuck Taylor.
Oh,
the Kentucky Gentleman. So it'd be a shame not to throw him into the comedy match. And then I'd say Chuck Taylor versus Buster Ellis, the current Paramount Pro Wrestling Prestige champion. I feel like they do some. Yeah, so I think they'd have a good comedy match. Buster's been calling himself the St. Helens Love Machine recently.
Yeah, that's all that.
So so that's obviously just got comedy written all over it, and then obviously with one of the funniest, wrestling performers around, Chuck Taylor. I'd give it to them too. Again, an interesting dynamic with the experience. I think it'd work.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
fun. Yeah. Buster Ellis, he seems to have grown into a character the last couple of months.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah,
and he's having some great matches. So.
Yeah.
A women's title match. So.
Women's title match. So I've only really worked with or trained with Lizzie Evo. I can't recall being on too many shows that, apart from in very early days, that had women's matches on. And the majority of those women in those matches aren't about anymore. I haven't heard from them in a while. Lizzie Evo is really the only one that I think is still active and all over the place. It seems she's clearly come on.
Oh, she's amazing.
Leaps and bounds. So I left that one open and I said I don't know because I wouldn't even be able to tell you someone who's currently wrestling. So, but as Lizzie Evo, I think she could probably put on I think she could wrestle a broom and entertain the fans for 20 minutes. So let's say Lizzie Evo versus Joker's Choice.
Yeah, up until after lockdown, I'd only seen her in intergender matches. I'd only seen her against Pitbull and I'd seen her against CJ Banks before.
Yeah,
That's only,
yeah.
She's really good. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Your mid-card title match, so your workhorse title?
Workhorse title, I would say Dan Evans.
Yes.
Versus Warhorse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, obviously Dan's, like I say, I wrestled Dan Evans about.
It's crazy how long he's been around for.
I know it. Yeah, it's bizarre. So I wrestled Dan when I was about 2 months into my, wrestling career, because like I said to you before, I picked it up quick, and after doing the junior shows, he started throwing me on the adult shows, and then something happened at a show once, and either I think someone couldn't make it or someone ended up getting put in a different match, but Dan Evans was our heavyweight champion at the time, and then they put me in the match with Dan Evans for the heavyweight title, and he was just a blast to work. And like I say, this was 10 years ago now, so with his 10 years of experience since then, he doesn't stop.
I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. We talked about wrestling for about 20 minutes. Star Wars and Disney. Just games.
So I'd say Dan Evans versus Warhorse. Obviously, met Warhorse last month at the Paramount shows. He's just an immense talent. I feel like those two work well together. I think that's a match that'd just be. I do think it'll be able to main event every show in the country, to be honest with you, because the pair of them are just a different level. So
definitely. A hardcore Extreme Rules style match. So this can be anything from your 24/7 comedy stuff right up to death match. You can do.
Right. Okay. So if we were doing a hardcore, I'd probably go for, Extreme Rules Falls Count Anywhere type of match, and I would probably say, Joey Rush, to be honest, against Isaac North.
Yes.
I think it's hard to imagine Isaac North being any scarier, but I think the one thing that could do that is you just say to him, "Oh, you can have weapons in this."
No weapons.
Yeah, no. I think someone would be, sacrificed. I think someone would be, there'd be, it'd just be a whole.
Just the camera keeps going backstage, and you'll just seeing him stapling the board. Glue and glass to it.
When the piece gets to the house at the end of Halloween, and there's just bodies screwed all over the place. I think that'd be one of a hardcore matches with Isaac. I'd be like, I think it'd just be carnage, to be honest. Yeah, and Joey Rush, because Joey is just, like I say, he brought a baseball bat to a match that wasn't a hardcore match. Give him an excuse to use it. He had a match last month for Paramount that was, as included weapons and things like that, and I seen him with, chairs, kendo sticks, thumbtacks, all other kinds of things, and he was great at it. He did seem in his element. It is very much in his element, so I'd definitely throw Joey in that one. Yeah,
definitely. Cool. Your tag team title match?
A tag team title match, I would go with probably Ben Reed and Lewis Johnson.
Yes, they're fun.
Versus the babyface Pitbull and Dave Faulkner.
Yes, Dogs of War. They called the Dogs of War still.
Yeah.
They're great.
I think that could just be a great match. Obviously, Pitbull, Faulkner being so, hard hitting and explosive and just really, really, nasty big guys. And then obviously you've got Ben Reed and Lewis Johnson, who are just so technically gifted. It's insane. A bit of a styles clash possibly, but that's not always the worst thing. I think it'd be an interesting match to watch.
Definitely. Then your main event.
So for my main event, I've got someone who also I done a seminar with very early on when I started, and I've got Jonathan Gresham.
Oh Yeah.
So I will go Jonathan Gresham versus PL Dotson.
Yes, he's fun.
Yeah. PL Dotson's another guy who I only met him a couple of months ago, and we had a training match. I think we went 12 or 13 minutes, but he's just a joy to to work with. He's a nice guy. Not his character so much, but work wise and wrestling wise, he's incredibly talented. We had good chemistry. That was the first time we'd met when we worked together. He's great. I do think he's another one that's underrated and should be everywhere, because he's got the look, he's got the ability, clearly, the character. He just seems to have everything down, and I don't think it'll be too long until we see him branching out and wrestling in a lot more places, because it does seem like he's got what it takes to do that. And obviously Jonathan Gresham explains itself, but
that'd be fun. That'd be interesting.
I just think those two guys would be able to have a good match, and I think both of them obviously absolutely worthy of the main event. So
he was on the Wrestle Island show. I was at the other week. He was really good. Hopefully he'll be on in a couple of weeks. We're about to send over some dates to him to see what.
Yeah, nice.
He's free. So.
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be a great show. I'd really like to watch that show.
Yeah. I think. Listen, I'm not a promoter. This could go bad fast. I don't know. I wrote down the matches. I didn't write anything down about this is purely fantasy. I think if I was to book a show at this point, it'd just be an absolute disaster. I think they'd end up being a Dark Side of the Ring episode just on my show. So I think it's probably best that I don't take any promotion jobs anytime soon. So
yeah, people just use this segment just to pull over their mates usually. So
yeah.
Cool. Is there anywhere else that the listeners can see you in the near future apart from the 9th?
So as it stands, we've got the 9th, and then I think Paramount have got the Rumble show in January. It hasn't been announced yet, but I think that's what it is. I've been talking to a couple of other companies in the past couple of weeks. I talked to a couple of people, and a couple of companies have got me penciled in for bookings in the new year.
Nice.
When they'll get their shows announced, and when they're putting their cards together and things like that. So hopefully I'll be able to get around a little bit more next year. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we go, do you want to promote your social media?
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me on Twitter at Adam Cairns _1, on Instagram at Adam Cairns 1, or follow me on Facebook at Adam Cairns Pro Wrestler.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I'll put links in the description.
That's great, thank you. But yeah, most of that will just be at the minute, links to Paramount shows, the show in December. But once the new year comes, and hopefully the bookings start to come with what we've when I've been chatting to promoters, hopefully I'll be able to keep everyone updated of where I am that week, and where I'll be in the future. So
amazing. Sounds great. Cool. So I've really enjoyed speaking to you. I'd love to have you on again in the future. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for having me.